Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to get started here in just a minute. This is our first recorded and Zoom call of the business trainings that we're going to be presenting once a month. My name is Amanda Roberts, and I'm going to be hosting this one. I would like to invite you to get a pen and some paper, take some notes. I will also try to attach links to the things that we'll be talking about today so that you can get the information that we'll be discussing. If you have any questions during this, if you are on the live feed, go ahead and put that in the chat box, and I will try to do Q&A at the very end with any information that might be missing or the questions that didn't get covered during the presentation. So thank you all for being with me, and let's get started. So the first, get back over here. The first business training of the new year, we are going to be talking about finding people to invite to classes and how we can do that. There's this. So what I'm passing out here and what I will try to get you guys the links to is just kind of a basic overview of finding people, how you want to do that. It's a note layout that I will send you all, and also a fast track planner, quick start guide. Okay, you have a quick start guide. What am I missing giving you?
I have things.
Okay. Okay, so just to show you all what we're going to be dealing with, I'll send you the link to this. This is just a notes of basically what I'm going to talk about today. The Edge Quick Start Guide, which you can find online, and also Fast Track Planner. So those are just some of the documents that we're going to be going over. And you can get all those things online. And if you text me with the number that's in the chat, I will get you the document that we are going over after we are done. Okay, so let's put the radio on. Okay. So just really quickly to kind of get you introduced to who I am if you haven't been introduced to me. My name is Amanda Roberts, and I have been building a doTERRA business for about 4 years. I have about 2,200 people on my team, which is an extensive team to manage and have my hands in and on at all times. But I feel like I do a pretty good job. I try to stay involved with as many people as I can and help anybody who wants to build this business. So if you are on this call, or if you're here with me live, there is an opportunity that you are interested in, and I want to help show you the best way to find that opportunity that works best for you. Now, everybody's going to run this business a little bit differently, and no way is wrong. Everybody has their own way. I had a way where I did it very organically. I did never feel like I was selling anybody anything. I just invited them to events that I wasn't even putting on and built my business for the first year that way. So, and then your way of doing your business might change as it's developing. So how I was finding people was they were already coming to me in my career. They were already coming to me to get on my massage table, and I was sharing the products just out of genuine love for the product. So that may be differently for you. You might not have that career where people are coming to you for health-related issues, but you still want to build this business, and that's absolutely an okay way to do that. You do not have to have that type of a career. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, who do I reach out to? I'm starting this business from scratch. I'm brand new, and I want to get started. The first thing to understand that this is a people business. So you have to be connected to people. If you know no one and you're a hermit and you stay inside your home, you're probably not going to have very much success with this. You have to actually like people and care about them and want to help them with their health. Because of the product that we offer, that is the avenue that we need to go down. We must care about the people, and we have to find the courage to reach out to them. So who do I reach out to? And that answer is everyone. We know these products work for everyone. If they have cells in their body, they're going to work with them. So every single one of us is made up of billions of cells. Every single one of us can have a benefit of essential oils. That doesn't matter race, religion, creed, anything. Everybody needs these products. So you're going to reach out to everybody. But how do you get started with that? And the mindset behind that, because that can be an overwhelming task to think about. I have to reach out to everybody. So I want you to put this, and this was presented to me, and it really helped me have that driving force to start reaching out to people. Imagine if I told you you would be paid $500 every time you would ask somebody if they are interested in natural forms of health. How many people would you ask? You'd ask everybody, right? I didn't say they had to say yes. I just said you have to ask. And you get paid $500 every time you ask. You wouldn't hold back at all. You would ask everybody. So that's the answer. Always put that in your mind that if you had an opportunity to share with somebody and the payout from that was $500, you would do it. And all it takes is asking a simple question. So then what do you say, right? So if they said yes, what do you say? You need to be prepared for that. Are you interested in natural forms of healthcare? Yes. You need to be prepared. So this is why we come to these trainings. This is why I try to help present this information so I can make it very simple so you don't feel like you have to stumble or fall over yourself trying to explain what you're doing or why you're asking them these questions. So even if they're not interested, because I get this a lot where people get discouraged because someone told them no, they're not interested. And trust me, if that had stopped me, I would have stopped in the first day. There's going to be those times where people are not interested, especially not interested if they don't know about the product, right? How many times have you been asked about something but you weren't quite sure about it, so you just said no because it would have been too overwhelming or too confusing to say yes? So, or you just felt like it wasn't a place for you at that moment, you know? So are you interested in, you know, natural diapers? Well, if you don't have a baby, then maybe it's not something that you're interested in. Just not no, it's just not the right time. So that is something we need to understand. Everybody has been told no at one point or another, but you don't let that stop. You move on to the next person because everybody needs these products. So, and that's the thing, if you let one, let's just call them ignorant to the fact of the product and what it does, you let one ignorant person discourage you and stops you from getting and reaching the people who are praying for the product, that it really upsets me that that can happen because a lot of people will get discouraged. Now, I can tell you, I've heard the statistic and I couldn't tell you where it came from, but it takes 6 interactions, 6 times for someone to say yes. You will find those rare few people that are going to jump on board the minute they smell breathe, right? You're going to have those people that are interested at the get-go, but then you're going to have those other people that you have sent sample after sample after sample to, and they still aren't making it to a class. They still won't sit down with you one-on-one. And if you give up after the 4th try, the 5th try, and you don't get to the 6th try where they would have said yes, you're missing out. So we can't stop at one no. We just approach them again when we feel like it's the right time or the Lord's putting that on our heart to reach out to them again. You can't let one no determine the rest of your, sharing, business, whatever you want to call this. So that's one thing I wanted to make sure I got across, because I do find it happens a lot as people get discouraged because somebody said no. And I think ignorant is probably the best way to put it. And it's not in a manner where I'm saying that they're stupid or anything. They're just ignorant to the fact of what the products can do. They're ignorant to the fact that these things are such a blessing to people's lives. So give them a chance to come around. Give them a chance, and that may take sample after sample. It may take pinning them down and doing an aroma touch on them. You never know. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody's journey is going to be different. The other way that I want you to remember this too, and this has made a big impact for me, is imagine this person's story 5 years down the road when they're telling their enrollees how they got introduced to the product. Do you want it to be a positive thing, or do you want it to be a negative thing? You want them to come back and say, man, this girl, you know, she berated me, she made me feel like crap until I finally tried her product? Or do you want it to be a story where I'm so thankful that Charlie kept loving on me. I'm so thankful that Charlie kept telling me I got to try this product. So you are impacting their story. Even if they do join doTERRA, you're impacting their story. They get to go back and say, this was how I was introduced, and this is how I want to continue that, the progress of introducing people. So we want to encourage a loving, caring, supportive type of environment for people. And so if you are yelling at them or getting frustrated with them, that's their story and you're affecting it. So just try to be as positive, optimistic, open-minded, and communicate with them about what their wants and desires are. Because if you're forcing something on them that they're not interested in, it's definitely going to have an effect on your relationship and their story of their journey. So hopefully that makes some sense to you guys, because it's something that I think about a lot. And it has a huge impact, because I'll tell you really quickly how I was introduced. I had a client who became a pretty close friend of mine. We felt like we were close enough that we would chat, about husbands and kids and stuff. And so she'd come and get her massages. She felt open enough to ask me if I was interested in essential oils, left me a sample, called me a few times, enough times that, and she's probably gonna watch this recording, she called me enough times that I went, ugh, it's that oil lady again. And I wouldn't pick up the phone. I would let it go to voicemail, and I'd let her leave me a voicemail, and thank goodness she didn't give up on me after try 4 or 5 or probably 10. I'm not sure how many times, but she kept being persistent with me. She kept coming to me to see me for massages, and she kept telling me how wonderful these products would be for my life. So it wasn't all about how great her life was now that she had it, but she knew what benefits it could provide for me, and she cared about me and my family. So she's a huge part of my story and my journey that I get to, replicate and duplicate as I go about. So I am thankful that she didn't end, her try with me at try number 4. So, all right. So move on to the next one. Someone says no, move on to the next one. There is somebody out there praying. I mean, literally, there are people out there praying for answers to their health, praying for answers for an income. There's people out there who need to know what we have, and we just need to keep sharing. How do you get started? Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is, and the best thing to do, is to sit down, give yourself an hour or 2, and make up what we call a names list. And the names list is, we try to get 100 names on a sheet of paper. And if you are using the Edge system, I'm just going to show you guys. The Edge system has a names list that is provided for you that is very easy to follow through. And just write their names down, even if you don't have all the information, phone number, email, whatever it is. Just write their names down so that when you're going to contact people, you have a list to start working with. And we ask for 100 names. You're not going to be able to, I'm still working on my 100 names list from the first list that I made. And they're coming around as we get going. So just make the names list. And then, do you guys have them? And so when you buy the Edge kit, the business kit, you're going to get a 50-tear page of these names list. And the names list has 5 on the front and 5 on the back. So even if you had 10 of these tear sheets, you would have enough to write 100 names. So you could share that with 5 different people, and you all could make 100 names list. So this is a really great way to start figuring out who you want to contact. So I get it all the time. People are like, well, but I don't know 100 people. And I call phooey on that. Give me your cell phone and I'll find 100 names probably in your contacts. I'll find 100 names on your Facebook. You know more than 100 people. You're afraid to put 100 people on these lists because you're prejudging whether they're going to like the product or not. That's not what I asked you to do. I asked you to write 100 names of people that you know. That's what I want. I don't care if you think they'd be interested or not. I want you to put their name on there. We don't prejudge. So the statistic is every 30-year-old has been in contact or been connected to 2,000 people. And you personally know and have a relationship where you could communicate and it wouldn't be awkward about 200 people. That's the average. And out of those 200 people, you probably know about 4 people who would trust you if you were jumping into a business, they would go in with you. So it's a small number, but that's all you really need when you're trying to build this business. It's a very simple, simplistic design to this business. So now think about those 4 people that do want to jump in this with you. They also are connected to 2,000 people. So when you say, I don't know anybody, it's phooey. If you know me, you know someone. If you know Charlie, you know someone, right? So everybody knows somebody. And then you think about, who do I know and who do they know? And then who do they know? So the list and the network develops into this massive organization. I have 200 or 2,200 people on my team, not because I know 2,200 people, but because I knew 30 people. And those 30 people went out and shared. And those 30 people went out and shared. That's how this grows. So if you go off of that statistic and you put 100 names down and you start reaching out to them, then you should do very well with getting some responses. So I have 2 memory joggers that I like to use when I'm trying to develop my list or I'm helping someone else develop their list. I have printed them for you guys here live, and I'll send you the link to everybody attending online. There is a warm market memory jogger, and it goes through things like who do you know that might answer a classified ad? Who do you know that runs personal ads? Who do you know that owns a business? Who do you know that works on cars? Who do you know that's in the military? Who do you know that goes to a gym? Who do you know that likes to vacation? Who do you know that was injured recently? So all of this list, it can jog your memory on people that you might want to start contacting soon. So let's get to the, who do you know that was injured recently, right? So if you reach out to that person and say, hey, I remember you saying that you sprained your ankle last week. I have a product that might support you with that. Would you like to know? You're reaching out to them to care about them. You're not reaching out to them to sell them something. So just with this names, and this warm market memory jogger has 100 of those things that you probably could sit through and write more than 100 names just trying to remember. Now there's another memory jogger that I have. I'm going to get it off the printer. This one's developed by Eric Waring, who, if you know who Eric is, he is the network marketing guru, and he has some instructions. So as you go through this memory jogger, the best way for this to work is to make an active candidate list as you're going through the memory jogger by entering names on the pages provided. So I'll get you the link to this. There's a hot candidate list, a lead with a product candidate, a direct approach. Maybe you know somebody who's looking for a business opportunity. An indirect approach, maybe you just need to reactivate that relationship. And then a super indirect approach, maybe this is reaching out to a cold market, somebody you don't know, but you know that this would be really good for them. How many times have you driven past that yoga studio and said, gosh, if I could just jump in there and present them with this product, it'd be great. So there's this 5 different categories, and then as you're going through the memory jogger, you're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 where they land in this category. So this memory jogger is really great, very in-depth. I wasn't going to print it for everybody because it's a lot of pages, but it goes into family members, who was your bus driver, who's your butcher, who is your delivery person, who's your fireman, your jeweler, getting into all of these aspects of your life. Who do you know that's an actor? Who do you know that's a barber? Who do you know that just got married? All of these different things that you can get into. Massage therapist, yeah, definitely, you want to go after them. It's really great. It gets into even who do you know in these different states, so you can reach out to them in a different state. So I really like these memory joggers. It helps you develop your list. Now, developing a list, though, isn't where we end. We don't end at looking at a list every day if we don't do something about the list. We have to actually get out there and invite them or reach out to them. So, oh, and here's another thing too, is let's say you're reaching out to somebody on your list and they're not interested at first. Don't lose that opportunity that you are in connection with them. Ask them for referrals. Well, who do you know that might be interested in this product? Is there anyone that you know that might be interested? Would you send them my way, right? So even, let's just play this out really quick. You contact Bob, and Bob says, you know what, I'm really not interested in that product. I've heard a couple bad things about it, and you know, I don't know, I'm a little skeptical. You might say to Bob, I totally understand. I was too at first. If you're interested in some samples to tell for yourself whether you like it or not, I'd love to send you some. And while you're thinking about it, if you hear of anybody looking or interested, would you pass my number along to them? That you just put your foot in the door for any of Bob's contacts now that he might hear or see that might need your product. So get out of here. You're gonna get stepped on. So don't lose that connection, that even that first no, you might actually get some referrals from it. So that's really good. And then, like I said, don't prejudge people. I have another list that's separate to my contact list that I have made, and it's in big bold and highlighted. It's my chicken shit list. Okay, so I am scared to death for whatever reason to contact these people. I'm intimidated by them. I don't want to reach out to them because I feel like I'll be judged wrong, or maybe they're just too out of reach for me. And so what I do is I give myself a goal is to reach out to one of them a week, at least one of them a week, whether it's reactivating that relationship, giving them a compliment so that they know me. Like, so if there are these big people in my life that I feel like have this really big influence, I might just start presenting myself into their life so that I'm not just coming at them wanting for something. I'm coming at them with compliments or resources or sending them a referral or something. So I have, let's just say I have a chiropractor that I really adore, and I think she would be amazing at presenting these products to her patients, but I'm a little intimidated to approach her that way instantly. So I'm gonna start sending her referrals. I'm gonna start sending her suggestions. So we start that way. I made the list, and I make sure that I touch base with one of those people every week so that I'm in their life, I'm in connection with them before I start directly approaching them with the product. Does that make sense? But I think everybody has that list even in their head where they're like, I know this person would be great, but I'm too afraid to pick up the phone. I'm too afraid to reach out to them with this. So there's ways around those. And that's all mindset stuff. So that's you. So, yeah, she loves people who are allergic to her. So the other thing, a couple tips and suggestions I want to put out there is make sure that when you are connecting with someone you haven't been in connection with for a while, reconnect with them at a personal level. I wouldn't approach them in the manner where you're saying, oh, I've got this really great product. You might want to reach out to them and say, hey, how's it going? What's life, doing? How are you? How's the family? Kind of a thing. Reconnect. Maybe the third or fourth try into it, then you can actually present something to them. And I like to ask the questions I want asked back to me. So if I say, hey, how's it going? Great, how are you? They're going to ask me back, what have you been up to? Oh, I got a new job over here. What have you been up to? I've been doing this oil thing. So those are the questions that I like to ask that I know will be, usually will be reverb back to me, and I will be prepared for those questions. And that's the next tip, is to be prepared when someone asks you, what have you been up to? We call it a 1 minute or a 5 minute elevator speech. So let's say you run into somebody and they say, I've got this really pretty blingy doTERRA shirt. And somebody might say, oh, what's that? I've kind of heard some people talking about that. What is that doTERRA stuff? Have something ready so that you can say, have you tried essential oils before? Have you had an experience with essential oils? Because these are the #1 essential oils, the purest and most potent, that have so many effects for your health, so many benefits for your mood, emotionally, for physical issues. They're amazing. Hand me your card and I'll send you a sample of them. have something prepared. I didn't have that prepared, guys, but have something prepared so that when you do run into somebody, you have something that you don't get stumbled on answering their questions. And then be confident. I see so many times, and I've been with like people out and about, when someone says, "Oh, what is that smell?" And they're like, "Oh, wild orange." Be confident about your product. It's amazing. We have such amazing products. Someone could say, "Wow, what's that smell?" You'd be like, "Oh, it's me over here. Got some wild orange going on over here, right around our neck. What is that?" Then you're confident about your product. You're actually going to present yourself in a confident manner, and they're going to be attracted to that. But if you kind of shy away and tuck yourself into a corner, nobody's going to be attracted to that. They're kind of like, "Okay, well, that lady's, weird or whatever." I used to be the weirdo, okay? I used to not want to talk about my product, and now I love it. So those are just a couple tips. And then another tip that I would say is, as you're developing this names list, try to add 2 new names, like new contacts that you've reached in the last week, networking yourself. If you can add 2 names to the list each week, you're making these new contacts, and you're gonna continue to reach out to them. So how do you do that? You can get yourself involved into different stuff. Here's my big key thing: get up, get out of the house, because you can't meet people in the house. And I struggled with this during pregnancy. I've struggled with it with a brand new baby, but I forced myself out the door. Maybe I'm going to join a gym, take a new class, offer a service, hire a service, whatever it is, you're making new contacts. So, but if you have to leave the house or invite people into your house to meet these new people, it doesn't always happen online. Now, there are people that do it online, and props to them, because I don't know how to do it. Here's another thing: is get out of your phone. I was just having a conversation about this. Talk to the person next to you when you're standing in line at the bank. Talk to the person next to you on the bus. Talk to the person next to you on the airplane. Wherever you're at, talk to other people. It might be more difficult in this society than it was even a decade ago, but there are still opportunities that you have to talk to people. Offer them a compliment. Ask them a question. We are actually starving for that conversation. Even though they have their head tipped into their phone, they're starving for personal interaction. And you can be that answer to them. If they're standing in line at the grocery store and they're staring at their phone, you can say, "Oh my gosh, those are the cutest shoes I have ever seen," even if they're not. Tell them they have cute shoes that will spark a relationship, that will spark an interaction with them. Get them out of their phone. They're dying for someone to get them out of their phone. Unless they look like they're like in the middle of an email, maybe leave them alone. But if they're just kind of cruising through their phone, start a conversation with them. I've done that so many times. Like, "I love your leggings. Oh, I love your shoes." There's a guy, you might say, "Where'd you get your watch?" Whatever it is, you can always find something to pay them a compliment, ask them a question, start an interaction. And maybe it's not going to lead anywhere, but it's going to definitely get you more comfortable with speaking to people, strangers, in public. Okay. And so what do I say when I start an interaction? You may feel stuck when you start these interactions. Let's just put yourself on a park bench, right? Maybe you've got a couple kids and you've got them playing at the park, and you're sitting next to another mom. What do I even talk about? How do I even start a conversation? I want you to remember this acronym, okay? FORD. You're going to talk about family. You're going to talk about occupation. You're going to talk about recreation, and you're going to talk about dreams. You might not all talk about all these things in one conversation, but it gives you a talking point. So you can ask them about their family. How many kids do you have? How old are they? Oh, that's so great. Do they get along? You can talk about anything when it comes to family. Family is probably one of the easiest things to discuss. When you go to the O, that's occupation. Ask them what they're doing. Guess what? They're going to ask you what you're doing. And you can mention, I actually have this really great, even if you have a full-time job, I did this for a while. So I had a full-time massage job. Well, I'm a massage therapist, but I also have this really cool side gig that I teach essential oils and help people with their natural forms. Well, I teach people with their, how to work on natural forms with their healthcare. So you can talk about occupation, that really gets things flowing. You can talk about recreation. What are you guys doing this weekend for President's Day? What are you guys doing this summer? Do you ever go out to the beach? I'm new to the area-ish. I've been using this excuse for 3 years. I'm new to the area. Not really anymore, but I still use it. I still sound like a Californian, right? I don't have the y'all down yet. But I use that to approach people with it, like, hey, I'm new to the area. Where do you guys go when you want a vacation or a barbecue, or what's the good lake to go to? And then dreams. If you're involved in a conversation with someone, you start developing a relationship with them, ask them about what they'd like to do. When do you want to retire? Where would you move if you could retire? Get off into that conversation where you have, I call it the lotto conversation. What would you do if you won the lottery, right? What would you spend your money on? How would you live? Where would you go? Those are really awesome things. I am interested in knowing what people would do. I hope to find the people that are philanthropists. I hope to find the people that want to go on missions. I hope to find those people that are like, those are the people that really interest me, because it gives me some really juicy ideas as to what I want to do when I win the lottery. So, all right, so that is the forward conversation starters, or just to get that interaction going. All right, so you guys got the forward conversation as FORD, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Now, there's another statistic that EDGE does. The EDGE team has a whole system that they teach. And their statistic is, if you teach 45 people the introduction to essential oils presentation, you'll get about 20 people out of those 45 that will enroll into a membership. That's a pretty good statistic. And out of those 20, 3 of those people will want to share. And I'm not saying build a business. I'm saying share with other people, and share pretty aggressively. Maybe they want to host a class every once in a while, or maybe they want to host a class twice a month, whatever it is, they want to share. And those sharers develop into elites. So if you have 3 sharers, you have 3 elites, and 3 elites is silver. Okay, so silver is one of the very first ranks that we call a leadership role, where you will be making what we call a part-time income. So here's where, if you guys are online and you have a quick start guide, I would open it up to the first page. And I just want to invite you into checking out this information. This might give you a better breakdown of where you want to be. So silver is someone who has 3 elites underneath them. And to develop yourself into that, you pick a goal of timeline, right? So do you want to do that in 1 or 2 months? Do you want to do that in 2 or 4 months? Do you want to do that in 8 or 12 months? So you pick how fast you want that to go, and then we'll tell you how many hours a week you need to be working your doTERRA business. And when I say working your doTERRA business, the biggest thing people figure is part of working their doTERRA business is posting stuff online. Posting stuff online is not working your business. Working your business is contacting people off of your list. That is working your business. Anything else is fill-in work. It's not part of the hours that you would spend in doTERRA. So if you want to get to silver in about a year period time, you would need to be putting in 8 to 12 hours a week. If you would like to get to silver faster than that, you can go full-time, and that's 15 to 30 hours per week, and you could do silver in about 4 to 8 months. And I have this happen. I've had probably the fastest person that went to silver they did it in about 6 months. So it's very doable. You can do that, but you have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. Hosting events and inviting people to those events it's not just hosting an event, but you got to get people in those seats. So it is full-time work when you want to reach silver within 4 to 8 months. So this just breaks down, I'll show you guys in case you don't have one. This just breaks down to how quickly you want to get to these ranks. So it's a really valuable tool that will help you determine how fast you want to go and what kind of hours you have to put into your doTERRA business. So quick start guide is one of the best things to kind of go over to kind of develop where you want to go with your business. All right. So getting back to inviting people to events. This is key to your business. Finding people, putting them on your list, that's one thing, but contacting them and then getting them invited to an event is a whole nother thing. Two very main issues in your business, probably the two most important things to do in your business. So when you're reaching out to your list, you want to ask questions, okay? This helps break down the barriers. It asks them where they're at with their mindset and their interest without feeling pushy. So door number one, we call it the 3-door method. Door number one is, are you interested in learning about essential oils or natural forms of healthcare? So ask them the question. And my best terminology that I like to use that really breaks down the wall is, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Are you interested in natural forms of healthcare? How offensive does that sound? Doesn't sound offensive at all. You've broken down because you are just curious. You're not pushing this on them. You're just interested in the fact that they are interested in natural forms of healthcare, or maybe they're just so modern medicine, aholic, that they want nothing to do with natural forms of healthcare. Most of the time, you're going to get a yes. Yes, I am interested in natural forms of healthcare. That's most of the time you're going to get that answer. So after that, you follow it up with another question. And even if it's no, you follow it up with another question. And one of my favorite follow-up questions to that answer, whether it's yes or no, is, what do you know about essential oils? Again, you're just asking a question. You're curious. You could put, I'm curious. What do you know about essential oils in front of that? And it really breaks down, how does that make you feel when I say that to you? It doesn't make you feel offended. It doesn't make you feel pressured. The person is presenting themselves just curious about something to do with your life. So even if the answer is no, I'm not interested in natural forms of healthcare, follow-up question can still be presented. I'm just curious, what do you know about essential oils? Well, I don't know anything about them. Great. So you don't know whether you are interested or you aren't interested because you don't know about this product. So give them the benefit of the doubt. Even if they say no, don't stop and move on. Just, you okay? It's the cat. You want some lavender? I need to wash my hands. Go wash your hands. This darn cat. There's some Tri-Ease. You want some Tri-Ease? And there's lavender. You got my whole oil boxes right there. This cat loves people who are allergic to her. Oh, sorry, Christine. Okay, so even if the answer is no, you can still move on to that second question. Here's another tip that I have for everybody is, if you are sharing with others and inviting them to come to classes, you need to be sending out samples. You have to be generous with samples. I've had so many people that have been like, well, I give them like a drop in their hand. No. You need to do more than that. They need to go home with the oil. They need to play with the oil. They need to experience the oil on their own. Yes, you can present them with an oil in their hand, rub it together. They're going to get that experience, but it's going to be fleeting and gone, and they'll forget about it. If they go home with something that they have to look at and play with again, or explain to their wife why they have it, that's where they're going to start using those products, experience it even more. So you have to be sharing samples. She's all over you guys.
She's like, oh, you washed your hands. Right, exactly. That really catifies you.
So you have to be sharing samples, and you can do this simply and affordably. doTERRA has a really professional looking sample pack that you can buy. They're BOGOs right now. You can buy the single oil sample packs. They'll give you a second one for free. I think it's like 20 sample packs for $16.50, which is super affordable. That's less than $1 a person. And every time you invite somebody, remember that there's a payback of about $500 immediately that you're going to get within their sphere of network. So less than $1 with the opportunity to making $500. Give out samples. If I told you, if you don't give them a sample, they'll never return, you give more samples. that was what I was doing. I was putting oils on people at their massage, but I was never sending them home with samples. So I didn't have samples back then. They didn't have our professional sample packs back then. I was giving out, once I learned this, I started giving away bottles of Brie, bottles of Wild Orange, full bottles, just here, take it home. And you know what? I did it with the mindset that my generosity will pay back. I know it will, even though it was probably not the most affordable way to do it, but I knew that I was blessing their life. And sure, there was times where I'll tell you one time, I gifted one of my friends that I absolutely adored, I gifted her a family physician kit. Okay, I gifted her a family physician kit because I knew her family needed it. I had the funds, I had the means, and I gifted it to her. I checked in with her periodically. I actually went to her to teach some classes in Texas. I went to Texas to teach classes for her, and she moved. And after she moved, one of her kids got sick, and I said, well, why don't you try putting some of the Breathe on his chest, or gave some suggestions. And she said, now this made me die a little inside. Oh, I think we threw those away when we moved. Did it stop me from continuing to share and send samples? No, but it did make me die a little inside. So be responsible with your sharing. Be responsible with how much you're gifting. Sometimes people don't appreciate it. So I've heard others who have shared sample after sample after sample after sample, and eventually you have to understand they're just taking advantage of your sampling. So you've got to present it in a way that you need to get them to actually purchase their own products, understand the value of their own membership, because there will be those people that will just continue to take samples from you. So that's not what I mean when I'm saying sample. I mean, if they have not had an oil experience, they need to go home with an oil. Whether it's in a tiny sample bottle, or maybe I always save my empties and pour a couple drops in there so that they can go home with those empty bottles. Save your empty bottles. It's a really great way to sample people. So yeah, so trust me, I've been there with sampling and all my experiences with it. I still sample, and it is the key thing to getting people introduced. So give those samples, invite them to come and learn more about it. Now, if you're inviting them to come learn more about it, you actually have to have a class to invite them to, okay? There are 3 different ways that you can invite people to classes. You can invite them to come and sit down with you at coffee, one-on-one. This happens a lot now, more frequently than it used to, because we used to do big class parties, and those were a big production. Lots of people showed up, and now we're in this mode of sharing where one-on-ones are way more beneficial for people. I think it's an overwhelm of hosted parties that people are being invited to, and so they're really responding to, let's get together for coffee, rather than come over for a party, right? And I don't like to call them parties, I call them classes, or lately I've even been calling them experiences. Because yes, it's a class, but they're also getting the experience of the products. So they don't feel like they're having to buy anything. They don't feel like there's going to be a test at the end. I got that a lot. People would say, oh, so if it's a class, I'm like studying and I have to take a test. No. It's an experience. And that is what people take away from an oil class, is the experience of the products, the experience of being around other people who use the products. So I have been calling them experiences, and I kind of like it. I like the way that it sounds. So Introduction Essential Oil Experience. Try it out, see how it works for you guys. But you have to have these things booked or planned, whether you're doing an in-home kind of a thing, or say I have availability on your calendar. Let's say somebody would rather meet with you one-on-one. I've got time Tuesday morning. I sit at the coffee shop, and I would love to meet with you there, between this time and that time, and have them come meet with you one-on-one. But you've got to have the time available to make that happen. It can't be just like, oh, well, we'll figure it out. Have some time available to invite them to that space. Or be involved with the team that you're on, so that you know when events are coming up, so that you can say, come with me, take their hand, come with me to this class. I don't have the capacity to host a class in my home, but I know my upline is having classes every Thursday, so come with me to this class. They love that. They love that you're willing to take the time to go with them, because normally they're not going to want to go to some stranger's home by themselves. We have had it happen, and it works out great, right, Charlie? But most of the time, they want their friend to go with them, especially if it's a stranger's house that they don't know. So have those 3 different ways where you're offering a one-on-one, maybe you're hosting a class, or you're inviting them to come with you to another class. Those are 3 great ways to have something prepared for them to come to. Okay, so we got samples. Now, when you're passing out those samples, you also want to make sure not to leave a big gap of time or space. Nunu, come on, seriously, Christine is gonna just not able to breathe. Go. Madison, come get your cat. So don't let a huge gap go between your sample and your follow-up, because they may forget, oh, how did I really feel when that sample helped me? When you follow up with them, you want it to be within 24 hours. I would say within 24 to 48 hours. Let them experience the sample. Don't jump on them the minute they get home. Let them have some fun with that sample, but follow up with them, and don't let it last too long. Because if you follow up with them a week later, their response might be, oh shoot, I totally forgot, it's still in the car. Okay, but if you follow up within a day and they say, oh shoot, it's in the car, they can go get it and still use that sample. If it's been a week, the issue that they had at the moment might be gone, and they won't be interested in that oil anymore. So I would say follow up, and again, I'm just curious, how did that essential oil work with you? What did you feel? How did it make you feel, using that essential oil? And you can put those into their minds by using words like that. How did it make you feel to open up your lungs without having to use a drug? How did it make you feel to, be able to take care of an infection that you had going on without needing to go to the doctors and spend the copay? Those things you can present to them so that they understand and notice the value of that essential oil, right? But follow up, I would say, if you can't do it within 12 hours, maybe you gave it to them that night, you want to follow up the next morning, give them about 24 hours before you follow back up with them. Okay, and then another thing is to keep up the momentum. Give yourself a goal of people to invite each week. Okay, so if you were at a job, or maybe you have a job that you go to, your work probably gives you tasks you must get done before a deadline. Normally it's by a week or a day, whatever it is. So give yourself, clock in for yourself, and give yourself, okay, this week I'm going to invite 10 people off my list. I'm going to call 10 people off my list and invite them to something, one of the events or whatever it is. But if you give yourself that deadline, if by Friday it's not done, you're not going to advance in your career with doTERRA or your business with doTERRA if you're not doing these tasks. So you have to give yourself a task to be able to reach and maintain these goals. So, and here's the other thing, a tip that I have for that is when let's say it's Friday and you had that goal of 10 people, when you're picking up the phone to reach out to these people, it can get daunting on you when people are saying, oh, but I'm busy, oh, I'm sorry, and oh, no, that's not going to work for me, oh, and you get no. Let's say number 9 is going to say yes, but you approach them in the way that they might just say no. Remember, the posture kind of slouches down. I've been said no to 9 times. Number 10 could be ecstatic that you're calling them because it's the perfect time for them. They're so interested, but if you don't have the energy to pick up the phone again for number 10, guess what? Their buddy next door, their neighbor is going to invite them, and they're going to jump on board with them. So my tip for you is every time you pick the phone up, it's the first time you've done it. They don't know that they're number 10 on your list. They don't know that this is the 9th time you've been said no to. They have no idea. So if you pick up that phone, and this is, get your oils out, seriously. Because if you can freshen your mindset, freshen your energy, understand that the next person could be praying for your call, and present yourself in such a way that they are going to be drawn to you rather than kind of Debbie Downer. Present it in such a way that you're calling them, specifically thinking of them. You knew that you had it pressed in your heart to reach out to them. They don't know they're number 10, okay? That it really helped me to hear that information because I would get so distraught after calling so many people and getting so many no's. And it wasn't no's, it was not now. I'm on vacation. The wife is, having a baby soon. We're kind of overwhelmed with this or that. Whatever it is, it's not no. It's usually not now. So don't mark them down as a no. Mark them down as a not now. Okay, so, and show up with enthusiasm. Yep, definitely. Put on a smile. Every time, and this was something way back in high school I was taught, even when you're on the phone, you need to be smiling. They can hear it through your tone. They can hear the smile through the phone. Okay, and then there's a statistic that says it takes 6 approaches to get someone to commit to coming to a class. Don't give up on the 5th. Don't take no or not now, or don't take no as a no, take no as a not now. All right, so the 3-door method we talked about. The first door that you want to get them to is, are you open to learning? Once they are open to that, you're going to invite them to an event. Okay, they're going to see the presentation. After that, you're going to go through the next 2 doors. We're not going to get into them today, but I am going to just tell you what they are. So the next door after they've attended a class is, are you open to use essential oils? Because now you have the information. Now would you be open to using these in your home? And once they say yes to that, you'll present them with a membership overview. And then after that membership overview, you're going to ask them through the 3rd door. And the 3rd door is, are you open to sharing the products with other people? You do not want to go out of order of this, right? Some people I have will jump into, oh my gosh, Amanda, I love what you're doing. I love that you get to stay home with your kids. And I know you're making a buttload of money. Can I do that with you? And I still walk them through the same doors. Are you interested in natural forms of healthcare? Okay, let's do this in this way. Otherwise, if I start with door 3 and go backwards, it doesn't work. Every time it's ever happened, someone's looked at the business first and not the product. It never works. So present them in those doors. Even if they approach you in the interest of the business, pull them up to door number 1 and let them walk through the process and get to door number 3. Like, I know you're excited about the business, and I'm excited to teach you about the business, but first, take a selfie. No, but first, let's go through door number 1. Okay, so get them to door number 1 first. You go out of order of this, it never has worked for me. Maybe it works for other people, but it does not work for me. So at this time, it was going to be kind of a little bit of a Q&A. We're about an hour in, so I don't want to keep everybody too long. I'm going to check the chat, and I also wanted to present to you guys, if you don't have one yet, the Fast Track Planner. I'll bring it over so you guys can see. The Fast Track Planner, do you have one? Can we not bring one over for you guys?
There's one at the house.
Okay, here's one too. You have one, Christine? Okay, I love working on these Fast Track Planners. If you have somebody who has been to a class and then now is enrolled and interested in sharing, Fast Track Planner is one of the first things that I present them with as a business. And this prepare section here, I'll list off what I want them to do. I want them to do this prepare section. And once they've done the prepare section, then we're going to talk about the next steps. So the prepare section is have a membership overview. Okay, so we're going to sit down and go over the benefits of a membership. They're going to set up a 125 PV loyalty rewards order. I want them to get connected with live training. I want them to be able to attend some business things. And if they aren't in an area where they can attend live, I want to get them on some Zoom calls, trainings like this. I want them to have a business overview. That's at the 3rd door, right? So we're going to ask them if they're interested in sharing. And then set the personal goals with Mentor. And the goals are on here. So you don't have to think, oh, what are their goals? I don't know how to ask them. Their goals are right here. You're going to set up their first 3 classes, get them on the calendar, get their dates on the calendar so they have something to start. Even if it's not, they're not hosting it, if it's a date that they have something to invite people to, make sure that they have it written down here. They're going to create a names list like what we talked about today. And then of at least 100 names. That shouldn't take too long, especially with the memory joggers. We want to get them equipped with their oils. We want to get them equipped with some
class sheets, a class in the box probably would be a great thing. Modern Essentials books. We want to make sure that they have the tools to share. And then there are some business trainings that I would suggest they listen to. The Buckets and Pipeline CD. If you haven't heard that, it's a great one. It's in the Edge Business Kit. And it's really one of those things that kind of solidifies what we're doing with this business. And the other thing on this Fast Start Planner is this is 45 name slots. Now, if you remember the statistic we were talking about, if you teach 45 people, 20 of them should enroll. And out of 20, you should find 3 or 4 people that want to share this business with you. So there's 45 names here. You put their name in here once they've attended a class, and then you follow up with them from there. Okay, so this is a really great tool. There's a lot more uses for it, but this is the part that I focus on first, and getting their goals set up so that we can put them on paper so we know how to help them get to their goals. Okay, so I'm going to check the box, see if there's any questions. Look like there's one chat. Great tips. Great. I'm so glad that you guys are getting this. You know, sometimes it will be the 10th time you've heard that, and it makes sense to you finally. So I know I've had that happen. I've attended so many classes. I always get something new, especially business related. I always get something new, some new tip that I didn't think about. So great. I thought this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys all got something from it. Hi guys, great to see you guys. I'm gonna stop the recording, and that way we have something short and sweet to send to people. But I really appreciate you guys being on with us, and if you can, get to the live ones, and if not, we'll try to do these once a month with the Zoom. So say bye guys. Bye.